Good morning and good afternoon. My name is Ines Raymond, one of authors of this paper that I'm going to present. The other authors are Elena Scozi Lalonde, Belisari Kao, and Vasil Kosa. Our topic for today has the following title: Developing a model for coastal ecosystem monitoring, the cultural market project in Gaza Province of Mozambique. Uh, First of all, let me share with you why Gaza Province and why this park is established in this province. So Gaza Province, we have to acknowledge that Gaza Province is the carrier of Chongweni and Shashai Archaeological and Biocultural Heritage Park in southern Mozambique. As we can see through these two maps, the left side is about the map of Mozambique and right of Gaza Province. So what makes the Chongweni and Shashai Archaeological and Biocultural Heritage Park unique? Reading the map on the left side, which is about the parks and the reserve in Mozambique, you can see that in southern Mozambique, in fact, this park is unique because it seeks to combine the conservation and protection of both coastal archaeology and coastal and marine ecosystem from a biocultural perspective in an area commonly affected by environmental disasters in the form of cyclones. This park emerged during the COVID-19 crisis and it is located in a zone prone to cyclones. It is also a place where for many years people have used natural coastal resources freely and explored seafood without limitation. Traditionally, harvesting mussels and clams is a woman's activity. Most of their income comes from this activity. Little by little, dunes have been denuded due to the overexploitation of trees for mussel processing and visitors who use the area intensively while going to the bay. What makes Shungan and Shasha Ecological and Biocultural Heritage Park unique? The second part of our argument. Women gather wild fruits from the forest, mainly from casuarinas and eucalypts such as tinsoli, tisun, and coconut tree sap for alcohol. At the same time, men harvest coconut palm fronds for making baskets, hats, and sieves. Seashells and the seeds of tinsel are also assets as the communities use this for craft objects that they can sell to tourists. On the right side, we can see a picture where it was taken by Vasil Kosa in 2019, where we see a lady who is selling alcohol that came from coconut tree sap. What makes Chongwen and Cultural Sheshai Geological and Biocultural Heritage Park unique? The third part of this. The Sheshai and Chongwen dunes are rich in biodiversity. They provide an ecological niche where various species of flora and fauna occur, providing rich ecological that benefits coastal communities, government of Mozambique. Several species of mussels are present. The most abundant species is the penna penna. The reported species are associated with intertidal zone and prefer sand or rock substrate and mangrove flats. On the right side, you can see images that were taken by Elena Scozilla Londo, which present the kind of shells, the kind of the shells that come from this kind of mussels. This, as I said, it's the specimen of Bernard. Shokwen and Shasha Ecological and Biocultural Heritage Park and this location in a zone prone to cyclones. As we said, this park is unique because it's also located in a prone zone to cyclones. As you can see on the map on the left side, and in this map, you can spot the Shubwen, you can spot Shongwen and Shasha, which is known as the area of Conshade or people where they take the shells of mussels. And the map that comes from it was provided by Dr. Solange Makam, an archaeologist of Edward Mondani University. We can see also these maiden mussels. We can see that gentleman who is collecting these maiden mussels. In terms of income generation and protecting against resource depletion, This is also the other these are the effects that the other factor that was responsible for the creation of the park. So if we take in account the SDG 14 and SDG 15, where it is about life below water and life on land, you can see that based on this, the park envisaged the call for a sustainable management of forests, combining desertification and how to on the reversal of land degradation and biodiversity loss. Shasha and Shongwan beaches are places where the destruction of dunes and the appearance of some local species such as tinsol and soon is ongoing as a result of overexploitation and land use. So women, as we said previously, they make their income through harvesting mussels or clams or other resources that are coming from the sea. So because of that, the park also envisages to establish a cultural product market on site. So this will serve as a way of reduction of exploitation or reduction of excessive harvesting of mussels and clams. So we are giving opportunity to them. The park is giving opportunity to them so they can sell their products in a in better condition, better way. The park as will host the so-called cultural of the area. A sustainable market within a park, selling what they harvest. We cannot blame solely local people for resource depletion. The argument on that is that there has been significant recent population growth and settlement in this area as a consequence of the immediate effect of the 2000 floods that submerged parts of downtown Shashan. With the successive cyclones and heavy rain, people have lost their assets, and the only solution that they have is to use the resources available, whether to sell them to get some income or for consumption. Drought, and also known as the silent death, has pushed people from the hinterland of Gaza Province to these areas. The abandonment of Shongwen and Shashai hotels allowed people without housing and fisher people to sell. The market pushes people to sell. As one gentleman said, everything that breathes is always valuable and will sell. All these people use the same resource which are conditioned a sustainable market within a park, selling what they harvest. One lady who interviewed within this project of creation of the park said that we grew up eating smoked mussels, clams, fish, and tizola and tisundu. So it is our responsibility to preserve and not allow them to disappear. So the idea of a park is welcome. The park is stimulating us to look after our resources. If we exhaust them, we will suffer, which means that within the community, a park with these characteristics is welcome. So, how do we maintain a park sustainable? How do we maintain a park without a fast process of depletion? We intend to have what we call the monitoring process. So, we're going to talk about monitoring model towards community awareness of natural resource protection. The monitoring model is based on giving people the tools of how to control and guarantee that the resources are not depleted and are used correctly by local stakeholders. And the supervision of nearby university students and researchers, women and vendors of crafts will be trained in how to collect relevant data regularly and to report demographic information on the number of visitors by their gender and place of origin, the popular craft products, and the most visible changes witnessed in the park during the year. The monitoring will provide a way for future planning and, if necessary, identify needed reforms to ensure the effective preservation of the park's biocultural resources while raising awareness among local communities about the value of preservation and monitoring has two sides of the coin. So, having said that, I can say that the purpose of the process of monitoring or as a tool of sustainability, we are saying that we are aiming to strengthen sellers and the harvesters of mussels, clams, wood, and forest cuts has to be the data collectors. Based on a famous saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go in a group. It serves the purpose of community engagement in preserving resources. For this purpose, regular monitoring is a must. Therefore, a simple strategy is emphasized. Using a local university proxy student and the park researcher will train sellers and investors of masses, climbs, wood, and forest cars to be data collectors for monitoring. Simple information collected every month will. So what kind of information do we need, do we propose that can be used for the monitoring process? We have what we call the demographic data. We need information about the place of origin, gender, age, of occupation of all people who use in the park, craft of interest, personship. We're talking about the basket, the shell mine, and the products basket trade. In terms of food, what kind of seafood has been fished or has been used, and what kind of food is preferential for tourists or those people who are buying products in the park. The most visited areas also want to know the market per se, shelf prices, and material made of straw and wood sold. We want to know the quantities per kg per vendor. What kind of material are will we use for monitoring process? Not pads, pencil or pens. Also, we'll use diaries where they can take notes of what that has been sold. In terms of a monitoring process, the university student and the market supervisor will be the one who, in the field who will monitor this process. Based on the results collected, graphs will be produced and will be put on display. So any visitor and park manager can see what has been overused or what attracts more in a way that can be controlled the process of using this. So, in terms of going to the conclusion, we can say that overcoming the challenge of sustainable development in a zone prone to cyclone and the overexploitation of resources in the park area depends on the user's ability and the manageability of the recently created park. Progress will depend on how communities, civil society, and government produce knowledge towards meeting the SDGs, which stress the need for a unified human and natural, i.e., a biocultural approach. Ultimately, this paper poses the following question: how will communities maintain the willingness to reduce depletion? What kind of production policies can be implemented to slow down all activities tending to depletion? Having said that, I can say that I've reached the end of my presentation, and I thank all people who contributed to this paper. And of course, I will not miss Professor Paul Lane, who ultimately did the editing of our slides. Dr. Solange Makam, the archaeologist of Edward Mondani University, is the one, in fact, who pushed the team until we reached that phase. And lastly, Professor Elise Makam from Basel University, who, in fact, introduced all us in this bigger project, which that was a dream, but now has transformed in a reality. Thinking of a biocultural park and also thinking of a market that they can sell what women, what men, and what people want and what people use is always always in a sustainability perspective, following the SDG 14 and SDG 15. And lastly, but not least, let me thank my colleagues, Elena, Vasily, and also Paul, who contributed greatly in this work. Thank you very much.